What's going on YouTube? This is Laron Henderson coming from the Just to Tech Out YouTube channel. I want to thank everybody for coming to and watching my YouTube channel. The holidays has just ended, so I hope everyone had a great Christmas and a happy New Year. And Santa brought you some nice gifts for Christmas, and you had a great 2021 starting out the year. So 2020 was definitely an interesting year, and so 2020 is finally here. So that means new tech is going to be coming in the new year. Both Sony and Microsoft, they finally released their long-awaited consoles, the PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox Series X and X consoles. So they both came in two versions. The PlayStation 5 for Sony came in the PlayStation 5 Disc version and the PlayStation 5 Digital version. And for Xbox, it came in the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, which is a less powerful and digital version of the Xbox. So now that both systems were out the way, whether you were able to get one or not, so what's next for gaming? What's coming in the next few years for the gaming industry? So this is my own perspective. That's going to be what's next is cloud gaming. So that's pretty much, that seems to be where gaming is headed to, whether you wanted to go there or not. It seems like that's where companies are headed to. There are both some advantages and disadvantages with cloud gaming, but I'll get to those in a little bit. But for now, there's Google with Google Stadia, Microsoft with xCloud, Sony with PS Now, and now Amazon is coming up with their own cloud gaming service, which is called Luna. So with cloud gaming on the horizon and in the future, will we even need consoles anymore? Will there even be a need for a new PlayStation or a new Xbox in the future? So with cloud gaming, there's no need to wait for shipments of new hardware or out of stock like it was with the current releases of PS5 and Xbox, where all the out of stocks, everybody trying to get one and not able to get one, or the scalpers using robots to buy them all up. So, and Shane turning around trying to resell those consoles for 2 to 3 times what their retail price was. But with cloud gaming, so there's no need to worry about that. So with that being said, here are the advantages and disadvantages of cloud gaming. So I'm gonna start with the advantages. So like I said, the first thing is there's no need to worry about sales and out of stock hardware or expensive hardware to buy. Both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are $499, $399, and $299. So, but if you game on PC, you got to have a good graphics card, which in itself can cost more than the actual PlayStation or Xbox 5. So, new graphics card can be anywhere $500-$600 range if you want a good graphics card, depending on how powerful you want the graphics card to be. And in addition to the graphics card, there's also the CPU and the RAM that you have to worry about to make sure that it's good enough to run the games that you want to play. So there's a lot of hardware involved with PC gaming. With console gaming, it's just a console, that's it. PC gaming can be a lot more expensive, a lot more complicated because there's a lot more parts and hardware involved. But with cloud gaming, you can play on whatever device you may have, no matter how much powerful, no matter whether or not the specs are there or not to play the game that you want to play. So me personally, I've been using xCloud to play right on my phone. Later on this spring, you'll be able to play xCloud on your PC. You can already use Google Stadia and PS Now on PC to play games on the cloud. So you'll be able to stream games right from computer, phone, or tablet, so there's no need for expensive hardware or expensive new hardware anymore. So it can be very convenient since you are not relying on console hardware or any PC-specific hardware to play your games. I found that Gears 5 was very responsive with my PS4 controller, which I was incredibly surprised by, and I don't even have an Xbox, so which is why I was very impressed with how Game Pass played and ran Gears 5 for me just on my phone. So another advantage of cloud gaming, updates and installs will no longer be a thing. So since gaming is on the cloud, all the updates and downloads will be done behind the scenes on the cloud servers for whatever cloud servers that you're using. So that when you start the game, all the updates will already be installed and ready for you to jump into the game. So you'll be able to go right to the game and immediately start playing. I know it's been a pain when I have bought a new game or one that I already have and I have to wait for an update or download in order to finish or complete before I start playing it. Back in the old days, there was the Nintendo, Sega Genesis, even the first PlayStation system, so we can just put in the game and start playing without having to worry about a download or a new update being installed. And with the whole Cyberpunk fiasco, that game needed patches and updates in order to even be playable on the current console generations. I'm not sure about PC, but I do know that was the case with consoles causing crashes on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox, and we are having a lot of trouble running on console hardware. But I know from what I've read and seen, Cyberpunk is running great on Google Stadia, which is Google's own cloud gaming service. So it's running great on Google Stadia, but just the hardware has been having issues with that, with Cyberpunk at least. And another advantage of cloud gaming, pretty much you can use other controllers. Like I mentioned earlier, I was able to use my PS4 controller to play with my phone via Bluetooth connectivity and use Game Pass to play Gears 5, and it worked like a charm, man. It was confusing at first because the buttons are different, but after a while, I got kind of used to it. Google Stadia, I believe they do, however, they recognize that you're using a PS4 controller, but keep in mind you can only pair it with Bluetooth with the phone. If you're playing on a PC, then you're gonna have to wire your PS4 controller in order to use Google Stadia. So keep that in mind if you're playing Google Stadia on a PC. But phone or tablet, you can use a Bluetooth compatible controller. Now, for the disadvantages of cloud gaming, yet another subscription service that you're going to have to pay for. At one time it was only Netflix that had a movie and video streaming service. Now there's Disney, Hulu, Peacock, Amazon Prime, and just a myriad of video streaming services. So many of them now I lost count of all of the ones that's out there. So this could happen with cloud gaming. With Google Stadia, there's a free version, but there's also a pro version that's $9.99 a month. In addition to having to pay for full retail, so in addition to the subscription service of $9.99, you're also going to have to pay full retail price for each game on Google Stadia. So not only are you paying a subscription fee, but you'll still have to buy the game separately. If you are a pro member, however, there are free games that you can claim if you're with Google Stadia. With Microsoft, they have Game Pass, and that's $14.99 a month if you want to play on both console and PC, or just $99 for one or the other, whether you want to play on console or whether you want to play on PC. But you don't have to pay separately for the games. You just pay the monthly subscription fee and you're pretty much good to go. It also includes Games to Go and EA Play with Game Pass Ultimate. Sony has PS Now. That is either $60 a year or $99 a month. However, unlike Microsoft, Sony does not put their first-party exclusive games on PS Now. So if you're looking for games like maybe the new Uncharted, new God of War, new Spider-Man, or The Last of Us Part 2, those games won't be available on PS Now right away. Yeah, they're not going to be available when they're on their release date. So it can take months and even years before Sony does put their first party exclusive games. And when they do decide to put them on PS Now, it may be for a limited time. So maybe for like a month, you can play God of War or Spider-Man or whatever the case may be. So, like I said, and PS Plus also does not include PS Now, which also allows you to play games online with other players. It allows you to play games online, and you also get 2 free games with a month with the PS Plus subscription. So you get 2 PS4 games a month and 1 PS5 game as of now. But it's also a separate subscription service that you have to pay for, which is also $99 or $60 a year. So with PlayStation or Sony, you have to pay twice if you want to play games online. One for PS Plus and one for PS Now. So you have 2 subscription services that you have to subscribe to if you want the full compatibility gaming with Sony. Me personally, I just pay for PS Plus. I don't pay for PS Now. Because like I said, they don't put their first party games on there, so there's really no real reason for me to sign up for PS Now. So with all that being said, what if like television networks, every individual game publisher decides to have their own streaming service for their games? I know right now Ubisoft, they're one such company. They have their own games cloud streaming services, which is Ubisoft, which is $14.99 a month, and you can use it with Amazon Luna, which is itself when it's available has a $4.99 a month subscription. Luna was also by invite only, so I'll put a link to that go if that's something that you're interested in. EA also has their own service, which is either $4.99 a month or $14.99 a month for the pro version. With all that, what if Capcom decides to come up with their own subscription service, or 2K, or Activision, or the countless other game publishers out there? It happened with the music streaming services with Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play Music, now YouTube Music, and etc. So there's so many different streaming services from movies. So the same thing could happen with video game streaming, which can be quite expensive if every single game publisher comes up with their own streaming services. So if you have to subscribe to every developer streaming service just to play their games, that can end up being quite a bit. Amazon Luna is currently invite only. You can request access on their website, but as of now, not too much is known about it or how it works or would it be included. But it's yet another subscription first service that you will have to pay for to get access to the game. Another disadvantage to cloud gaming is ownership of games. So if you're only streaming games on cloud servers, the ownership availability of games has been in question, coming to speculation on whether or not you actually own that game. Sony, they do have game sharing where you can share a game with someone that you're playing online with, but trading games with a friend or selling or trading games back to a used game store will be a thing of past. So you won't be able to trade in those digital games like you can with the game store, which can be a good or bad thing depending on how you look at it. People look down on GameStop for the low prices they give for trading back used games, but So like I said, trading in used games could be good or bad depending on your perspective. So with Google, they also have been known to kill a lot of private services in the past. There's even a website called the Google Graveyard, and they recently just killed off the much better, in my opinion, Google Play Music for YouTube Music. So Google Play Music is no longer available. You have to use YouTube Music. So the longevity of Google Stadia is pretty much unknown. So if you buy games from there, and for whatever reason they decide to shut down or kill off Google Stadia, all the money you spend on your games and all the games that you have purchased on Google Stadia will be gone for good, with no access to those games at all. But at least with older systems and games, if you still have the physical hardware, the physical games, you can still just plug in that system. You can still play them. So there's no need to worry about them disappearing. If you have them in your house to play, just hook it up to that system to TV, put it in the game, you're good to go and can start playing. With cloud gaming, nobody really knows what the future of it may or may not be. So games also leave game streaming services. So once that license expires, then it may not be no longer available on that streaming service, whether it be no matter what streaming service, whether it's Luna, Game Pass, or PS Now, whatever the case may be. So there's a game you've been playing for that, and then the such publisher decides to no longer allow that game on that streaming service, then what happens to all your game data? Will it still be saved? We better transfer it to a physical copy of the game if you buy a physical copy, or whatever the case might be. So who knows how that's going to work in the future with cloud gaming when games decide to leave a cloud service. It's kind of like movies on Netflix. Once that movie is gone, you can't watch it on Netflix anymore. So game prices. Buying games in the cloud, when they're first come out, they're the same exact cost as buying them from a store. Like I mentioned with Google Stadia, even with the subscription $9.99, you still have to buy games yourselves in addition to a monthly subscription fee. And as I mentioned earlier with Sony, they do not make their first party games available on day one on PS Now. So even if you are buying a game from the PS Store, then you have to pay the same price for new games if you buy it from the store. So whether you buy digital online at $60 or whether you go buy it to the store at $60. And even with PS5 and Xbox, publishers are raising their prices to $70 for their brand new games. So the prices are going up. So whether you buy it or not, whether you buy the digital copy or physical copy, the prices are going to be the same. So, but in my opinion, as of right now, so far to me, Microsoft has the best option for cloud gaming, since you can get their first-party games on day one on xCloud. But this may or may not be the case with third-party game publishers, as they may choose not to put their games on xCloud or the day of release. So if you are exclusively playing on xCloud, so for example, if you only want to play on xCloud, you don't have an Xbox system, and you just want to buy, or you don't want to pay for a game, you want to wait for it to come to xCloud. So you're going to have to wait until the third-party publisher decides to put their game on xCloud for you to play. If you didn't want to purchase that game upon the initial release. So if you just want to say, I want to only pay for xCloud, I want to buy any physical games or digital games, then you're going to have to wait till that publisher decides to make that game available on xCloud, which could be months or years from now. But I know Microsoft will be putting their first-party publisher games available for day one for you to be able to play. But we don't know if all game publishers will do that for their game. I know some do, some don't. It just depends on that video game publisher. And one last disadvantage I want to go over for cloud gaming is the internet. If you are relying on with game cloud or cloud gaming on the cloud rather, you need a stable internet connection for gaming. So Comcast, they just introduced a data cap of 1.2 terabyte. So gaming can be a big hit to that data cap if you have a provider like Comcast who has a data cap, especially with many other devices that are also running on the same network using that bandwidth. And not everyone has a high speed or access to a high speed internet connection. Right now I have Spectrum, which has no data caps as of now, but that is only due to a deal that they made when merging with Time Warner. They can't implement a data cap for 7 years, and I do know they have 2 years left, and they've been trying to get over that data cap to implement them now, breaking that contract because they don't want to wait to 2 years. They're trying to implement them now from the last time I read about it. So they've been trying to get out of that deal or that limitation of implementing data caps. But we'll see if they put in a data cap or not within the next 2 years. As I'm sure they will. If they do, I'll be looking for another internet provider. I've already been looking just in case, but we'll see what happens because they have been asking for it. But if you're in an area that either A or one does not have a reliable internet service, or if you're with a provider that has a data cap, the cloud gaming may just be a little bit difficult for you. So you may not be able to game on the cloud like you would be able to if you had an unlimited data service or you had access to a high speed or reliable internet connection. So these are just the advantages and disadvantages of cloud gaming. So in the comments below, just let me know how you feel about cloud gaming and what are your thoughts on it. What are the advantages or disadvantages that you personally see with cloud gaming? Are you currently gaming in the cloud? And if so, what is your experience being with cloud gaming? Or are you looking into cloud gaming in the future? And what services have you used or tried so far? Or what services are you looking forward to, whether it be Amazon Luna, Google Stadia, PS Now, or Game Pass? I also know that GeForce, they have one as well with the video. So if you tried any of those services or looking forward to any of those services, just let me know in the comments below and let me know your thoughts about the future of gaming and cloud gaming, how you feel about it, or what your experiences have been thus far if you have used cloud gaming already. So as always, I want to thank for everybody for checking in with me, watching my YouTube video. And I want to wish everybody a great and happy new year, happy 2021. And I hope it's a very, very prosperous and productive year for you all. And have a great day. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. And don't forget to comment below what your own personal thoughts are on cloud gaming. So thanks. That's it for now. And bye for now.